Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Crochet with Zara. In today's tutorial, I am going to show you how to make this 3 to 6 months baby hoodie sweater. This tutorial is divided into two parts. Part 2 link is given in the description box. After watching part 1, make sure to watch the part 2. Grab your materials and let's get started. For this project, I am using these colors. Red is my main color and these are I am going to add some rainbow touch. I have made a little balls from the big ball as it will be hard for me to handle the bigger one. 4 stitch markers, a weaving needle, a scissor and a hook of 3.5 mm and a hook of 3 mm for the ribbing. So let's get started by taking the main color, red color. Let me give you a rough review. For the starting chains, we are going to make total of 57 chain and plus 1 for the additional one. So 17 chains for the back, 1 total of 4 chains for the corner, 11 for the sleeves and 7 total of 14 for the front. And we are going to skip 3 chains from the front as both the front and back should be equal, but in my case I am going to add 2 to 3 buttons on the front, so I am just skip 3 chains to add the button opening and button holes, whatever you say. And let's take the yarn, red yarn, and work a slip knot and insert the hook into the slip knot 3.5 and work total of 58 chains. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. Now I have worked total of 58 chains and I am going to skip the first chain and yarn over and work double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Insert the hook into the chain, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Now work double crochet in each chain and in the end you have total of 57 double crochets at the end of the chain. So work double crochet until the end of the chain and I'll meet you then. Now I have worked total of 57 double crochets. Now before we are going to start the next row, we will first mark our corners. Now 7 for the front, just count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and mark in the 8th corner of our mark in the 8th stitch as our first corner. Now again 11 for the sleeves, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So in the 12th stitch mark as a second corner. Now again for the back 17, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. So in the 18th mark as the third corner. Now again for the sleeve 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So in the 12th mark the last corner, so we should have 7 stitches left at the end. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So now this row I will not count it as a row, I will call it a foundation row in the whole project. So I am going to start my row number 1 and the 2 rows I am going to work repeat rows. So I am going to start repeat row number 1 and 2 and I will call row 1 as a repeat row number 1 and row 2 as a repeat row number 2 in the entire project. So just for the first stitch yarn over, insert the hook into the first stitch and work as a double crochet. Now in the second stitch work a V stitch, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet into the same stitch. Now skip chain 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and work V stitch into the third stitch, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet into the same stitch. So this is called V stitch. Now we have worked V stitches for the front. Now skip 2 and just we have reached at our first corner. Now take out the stitch marker and work a 2 V stitches with a chain 1 in between, V stitch, chain 1 and V stitch into the same stitch, chain 1 and double crochet. Now technically we have 2 V stitches with a chain 1 in between, so in the chain 1 we are going to mark as our corner. So we have increased by working 2 V stitches with a chain 1 in between in the corner. Now for the sleeve part, skip 2 chains, work into the third V-stitch. Now skip 2 chains, work a V-stitch. Now again skip 2 chains and work a V-stitch into the third. And we have 2 left. So we have total of 3 V-stitches in the sleeves part. Now skip 2 stitches and we have just reached at our corner. So take out the stitch marker, increase into the corner by working 2 V-stitches with a chain 1 in between and mark it as a corner. Chain 1 and so 2 V-stitches and mark into the chain 1 space between the V-stitches. Now again skip 2 stitches into the third stitch, work a V-stitch, chain 1 and now skip 2 stitches, work a V-stitch, chain 1. Now skip 2 stitches into the third stitch, work a V-stitch, chain 1. Now skip 2 stitches, work a V-stitch into the third stitch. Now again skip 2 stitches, work a V-stitch. And for the next V-stitch, we have reached at our corner. So for the back part, we have total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V-stitches. So after skipping 2 stitches, we have just reached at our corner. So take out the stitch marker, increase into the corner by working 2 V-stitches with a chain 1 in between. Chain 1 and again V-stitch into the same stitch and mark the corner. Now skip 2 stitches and work a V-stitch. Again in the sleeves, we should have total of 3 V-stitches in the sleeve section. Now skip 2 chains and work a V-stitch into the third stitch, chain 1 and now skip 2 stitches, work a V-stitch, chain 1 and now after skipping 2 stitches, we have just reached at our corner. So take out the stitch marker, increase in the corner by working 2 V-stitches with a chain 1 in between. This is very easy and simple. If you just crochet with me. Now mark the corner. Now for the front part, skip 2 stitches, work a V-stitch, chain 1 and double crochet. Now skip 2 stitches, work a V-stitch, chain 1 and now we have 1 stitch left, so we will work a double crochet into the last stitch. First and last stitch we have to work double crochet in every round. Now chain 1 and turn. Now I am going to start my repeat row number 2. In this row I am using a stitch, granny stitch. Now yarn over and work a double crochet into the first stitch and work a granny stitch into the V stitch. You can see a chain 1 space between 2 double crochets coming out from the same stitch. So we will work granny stitch into the V stitch, yarn over, work a 3 double crochets. 3 double crochets is called granny stitch. Insert the hook into the V stitch, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now work 3 double crochet or granny stitch into the V stitch. Now yarn over, work a granny stitch into the V stitch. Now we have worked granny stitches for the front part. Now we are at our corner. You can see we have 2 V stitches with a chain 1 in between. So in the V stitch, first V stitch, increased V stitches in the previous row. So we will work granny stitch into the V stitch in the corner. Now in the chain space where we marked our stitch marker, so take out the stitch marker and work a V stitch into the chain 1 space between the V stitches, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet into the chain 1 space and again mark it as a corner. So in repeat row number 1 we will increase in the corner and in repeat row number 2 we will not increase. Instead we will make a 1 V stitch into the chain 1 space. Now again into the next V stitch work a granny stitch. Now work a granny stitch into the next V stitch. Work a granny stitch into the next V stitch. Now work a granny stitch into the next V stitch. Now again we have reached at over corner, work a granny stitch into the V stitch. Now in the chain 1 space, work a V stitch by working double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet into the same space and mark into the V stitch as a corner, and into the next V stitch work a granny stitch. And keep going by working granny stitches into the V stitches, and in the corner chain 1 space work a V stitch. Now again we are at over corner, work a granny stitch into the increased V stitch in the previous row. Now into the chain 1 space work a V stitch, chain 1 and V stitch, double crochet into the same space, again mark it as a corner. Now work a granny stitch, now work a granny stitch into the V stitch. Okay, I hope you understand. Now I will meet you at this point. Now I have reached at the end of the repeat row number 2. Now yarn over, work a double crochet into the last stitch. Now chain 1 and turn. Now I am going to start my repeat row number 1 as my row number 3. Now yarn over, insert the hook into the chain and yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So we have made just double crochet. Now skip one stitch and into the, this is only for the this side and this side. Now yarn over, insert the hook into the second stitch, skip one stitch, or you can see the middle stitch, granny stitch into the middle double crochet of the granny stitch, work a V stitch, chain 1 and double crochet into the same. So this is my first V stitch. Now skip 2 stitches into the third stitch, work a V stitch. Now skip 2 stitches into the third stitch, work a V stitch. Now if we skip these 2 stitches, we have just reached at our corner, so take out the stitch marker. So we will increase into the chain 1 space or the V stitch of the previous row. V stitch, chain 1 and V stitch into the same. So into the chain 1 space, mark it as a corner and work a V stitch after skipping these 2 stitches. So in the same way, we will work repeat row number 1 and 2. I have described you how to increase in the repeat row number 1 and how to work a V stitch in the corner in the repeat row number 2. So I am not going to show the further steps as they are same as I just crocheted. So I will meet you at the point when, if we put the measuring tape at this point, so we have 3.5 inches length of the armhole depth. So work same as I described. Repeat row number 1 V stitches, increase in the corner by working 2 V stitches, chain 1 in between, and in the repeat row number 2 work a granny stitch into the V stitch and into the chain 1 space or in the corner work only V stitch, no increase into the repeat row number 2. So I will meet you at the point of where I reach the armhole depth at 3.5 inches. Okay, I will meet you then. Now I have reached at the point where our armhole depth made 3.5 inches and our chest should be 8 inches. So I have a size, so just put it over itself and you can see our armhole depth made exactly the same as the size of the baby shirt. If you want to make bigger, you can increase the chains and divide the front back portions accordingly, and or you just take a shirt of your baby. And now in the next step, I am going to join the front part and the back part and separate the sleeve section. So I have just ended up at V stitch row or repeat row number 2. So in the repeat row number 3, I am going to join or separate the sleeves and part from the front and back part. Now chain 1 and turn. Work a double crochet and work a granny stitch into the V stitch. And keep going by working granny stitches until you reach at the corner. Now we are at our corner. Work a granny stitch into the corner, sorry, V stitch, and into the chain 1 space work a double crochet, chain 1 and skip the whole sleeve part and double crochet into the corner or the space between the two V stitches. So have we just joined over front and back part with double crochet and chain 1 double crochet. Now again keep going by working granny stitches into the V stitch. Okay, I will meet you at this point. Now I have reached at the other side. Now work a granny stitch into the V stitch, double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1 and skip the entire sleeve section and work a double crochet into the chain 1 space. Now again work granny stitch, and keep going by working granny stitches into the V stitches. Now into the last stitch work a double crochet. Now at this point I am going to join my yoke from the front, as this is my button opening, chain 1 and work a slip stitch into the double crochet of the other part. So technically we have 1, 2 and 3 chains. This is a set of granny stitches. If we work granny stitch or V stitch into the next repeat row number 1 or 2, so it completes the set. As we work V stitch into the this stitch, skip 2 and work a V stitch into the chain 1. So now chain 1 and slip off the yarn, as we will join the next round from here. Join at this point or this or in the back side. So this is my front, so I will not want my joining to see in the front. So normally we just turn over project at every row, so just flip or turn it into the other side and take any of the stitch. I'm taking this one into the middle and attach the yarn. Now work chain 3, 1, 2, 3.
I will meet you in the part 2. So the link is given in the description box.